It was a gloomy and unseasonably cold night when Catherine moved to the small, isolated town of Blackwood. The quaint town was nestled deep within a dense forest, far away from the bustling city she had called home for years. She sought a fresh start and solitude, far removed from the chaos of urban life. As she settled into her charming, centuries-old cottage, Catherine couldn't help but notice the peculiar behavior of her new neighbors. They were friendly, yet kept their distance, and their gazes often lingered just a bit too long. She assumed it was the idiosyncrasies of a small, close-knit community. As days turned into weeks, Catherine couldn't ignore the unsettling whispers that seemed to follow her wherever she went. The townspeople spoke in hushed tones, revealing that Blackwood held secrets deeper and darker than the surrounding forest. "Stay indoors when the moon is high," a shopkeeper warned her one day, her voice trembling. "For strange things happen in the night, and the darkness conceals ancient terrors." Catherine, curious and undeterred, decided to learn more about the town's history. She discovered that the people of Blackwood had been plagued by mysterious deaths and strange occurrences for centuries. Rumors of vampires and blood rituals had become a part of the town's lore. One fateful night, as the moon loomed large in the sky, Catherine awoke to the sound of frantic footsteps outside her cottage. She peered through her window and saw a shadowy figure darting through the moonlit streets. As she ventured outside, her heart racing, she discovered the lifeless body of a young woman, her throat brutally torn open. The gruesome sight sent shivers down Catherine's spine, and she realized that the stories about vampires might not be mere legend, but a horrifying reality. Panic gripped the town as more victims were discovered, their deaths mirroring the same gruesome fate. Fear and suspicion spread like wildfire, and the townspeople's hushed voices grew more fervent. Catherine's determination to uncover the truth led her to an enigmatic stranger named Alexander. He was a recluse, shunned by the townspeople, and rumored to possess knowledge about the dark forces that plagued Blackwood. With a tone of caution and urgency, Alexander revealed to Catherine the town's harrowing history. He claimed to be a vampire hunter, a guardian of the night, and believed that the town had fallen under the sway of a malevolent vampire. As their paths became intertwined, Catherine realized that she was drawn to Alexander in a way she couldn't explain. His charisma and the air of mystery that surrounded him both intrigued and unnerved her. Catherine and Alexander embarked on a treacherous journey to unearth the secrets of Blackwood. Their investigations led them to forgotten diaries and records that hinted at a vampire's presence, a creature that had tormented the town for generations. The pair discovered an underground chamber hidden beneath the town's oldest church. It was a place of unspeakable horrors, filled with the remnants of ancient rituals and blood-stained altars. Catherine's heart pounded as they pieced together the truth. The vampire, a malevolent and powerful being, had found a home in Blackwood. Its insatiable thirst for blood had terrorized the town for centuries. As Catherine and Alexander delved deeper into the secrets of Blackwood, they unearthed an ancient pact that bound the town to the vampire's malevolent will. Generations ago, a desperate group of townspeople had made a pact with the vampire, trading their loyalty for protection and wealth. The price, however, had been steep. The vampire's influence grew stronger with each passing year, and the town's inhabitants became unwilling blood donors to satisfy the vampire's insatiable thirst. Armed with newfound knowledge, Catherine and Alexander realized that breaking the blood pact was the key to freeing Blackwood from the vampire's grip. The path to achieving this would be perilous, requiring them to confront the malevolent being and its centuries-old power. Their quest led them to the heart of the forest, to an ancient cave where the vampire had established its lair. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, a sinister presence enveloped them, and the air grew thick with malevolence. In the cave's depths, they found the vampire, a creature of dark elegance and unworldly beauty. Its eyes gleamed with a hunger that sent a shiver down Catherine's spine. The vampire's voice was hypnotic, its words a seductive blend of promises and threats. It spoke of eternal life and the power it could offer in exchange for their loyalty. But Catherine and Alexander remained steadfast in their mission to break the blood pact, no matter the cost. A ferocious battle erupted in the cavern as Catherine and Alexander faced off against the vampire. The creature's unearthly speed and strength made it a formidable opponent, and its ability to control shadows added a supernatural element to the fight. Catherine brandished a silver dagger, while Alexander wielded a blade forged in moonlight, the only weapon capable of harming the vampire. They fought with fierce determination, their hearts fueled by the need to free the town from the curse. The battle raged on, the walls of the cave bearing witness to the clash of light and darkness. With every strike and parry, Catherine and Alexander inched closer to breaking the blood pact that bound the town and the malevolent vampire. In a final, climactic confrontation, Catherine and Alexander overcame the vampire's supernatural prowess. With a swift and calculated move, Alexander plunged his moonlight-forged blade into the vampire's heart, causing it to writhe in agony. Catherine recited a forgotten incantation, breaking the blood pact that had ensnared Blackwood for centuries. The townspeople's fates were no longer intertwined with the vampires, and its malevolent influence began to wane. As the vampire's power weakened, it let out a heart-wrenching scream, its body disintegrating into dust, vanquished by the will of Catherine and Alexander. With the vampire's demise, Blackwood was free from the curse that had haunted it for generations. The townspeople emerged from their homes, their faces filled with a mixture of awe and gratitude. Catherine and Alexander, having played a pivotal role in breaking the curse, were hailed as saviors. The town, once shrouded in darkness, was now bathed in the light of hope and redemption. As Catherine and Alexander stood together, watching the sunrise over the forest, they knew that their destinies were forever entwined. They had faced a nightmarish evil and emerged victorious, forging a bond that transcended time and darkness. The town of Blackwood, once a place of terror, now stood as a symbol of resilience and triumph. The curse had been broken, and a new era had dawned in the once haunted town. After the vampire's defeat, Blackwood experienced a fragile peace. The town's inhabitants, no longer bound by the malevolent pact, slowly began to rebuild their lives. The scars of centuries of torment ran deep, and the collective trauma had left its mark on the town. Catherine and Alexander, their names now whispered in reverence, continued to reside in Blackwood, helping the townspeople heal and adapt to their newfound freedom. The two had grown close during their shared battle against the vampire, and their connection deepened as they faced the challenges of the aftermath. Despite the apparent peace, eerie occurrences continued to plague Blackwood. Unexplained disappearances and strange phenomena cast a shadow over the town, leading Catherine and Alexander to suspect that remnants of the vampire's malevolence still lingered. Catherine's investigation into the town's history led her to a forgotten prophecy, one that spoke of a vampire's return should the blood pact ever be broken. The prophecy foretold a series of trials that would test the strength and resilience of Blackwood's inhabitants. As the trials began, the town's newfound peace shattered, replaced by a growing unease. Catherine and Alexander knew that the malevolent force they thought they had vanquished was far from defeated. The trials were harrowing tests of the townspeople's resolve, a series of nightmarish ordeals that seemed designed to break their spirits. Unfamiliar shadows loomed at the edges of vision, and whispers filled the air with ominous warnings. One by one, the inhabitants of Blackwood faced their trials, confronting their deepest fears and darkest secrets. Some emerged from the trials stronger, their determination unbroken. Others were not so fortunate, succumbing to the malevolent force that sought to reclaim its hold on the town. Catherine and Alexander, their bond growing stronger with each trial they faced together, realized that the only way to protect Blackwood was to uncover the source of the malevolence and confront it head-on. Their investigations led them to a hidden chamber deep beneath the town, a place filled with ancient writings and inscriptions. There, they discovered the heart of the malevolent force, a malevolent entity that had existed for centuries, feeding on fear, despair, and suffering. This entity had manipulated the trials, using the townspeople's fears and weaknesses against them to regain its strength. It was a formidable adversary, a supernatural entity with an insatiable hunger for darkness. Catherine and Alexander knew that defeating the malevolent force would be their greatest challenge yet, and they faced it with a sense of urgency and determination. In the chamber, a final climactic confrontation unfolded between Catherine, Alexander, and the malevolent force. The entity, a swirling mass of darkness, taunted them with whispered secrets and their darkest fears. Catherine and Alexander, their love for each other serving as a source of strength, confronted the entity head-on. With resolve and the knowledge that their unity was their greatest weapon, they fought to banish the malevolent force once and for all. With a powerful incantation and the force of their will, they succeeded in weakening the entity. The chamber shuddered, and the malevolent force was consumed by its own malevolence, vanishing into the abyss. With the malevolent force defeated, Blackwood was finally free from its grip. The trials ceased, and the townspeople began the process of healing from the trauma they had endured. Catherine and Alexander, having faced the darkest of forces together, found solace in each other's arms. Their love, forged in the crucible of horror, had helped them overcome the malevolent entity that had haunted Blackwood. The town, once a place of dread, had now truly turned a corner. A new era had dawned in Blackwood, one of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of love in the face of darkness. As Blackwood continued to recover from the malevolent force's torment, Catherine and Alexander remained vigilant, knowing that the shadows of the past could still reach out to reclaim the town. They had seen the malevolent entity's insidious nature and understood that its influence could linger. The pair established a network of safeguards to protect Blackwood, including ancient wards and symbols meant to deter any resurgence of the malevolent force. Together, they stood as guardians, watching over the town and its inhabitants, their love and shared experiences serving as their strongest weapons against the darkness. Years passed, and Blackwood began to flourish once more. The scars of its torment remained, but the town had grown stronger, unified by its shared history of surviving the malevolent force's trials. Catherine and Alexander's legacy lived on in Blackwood, a testament to the strength of love and the indomitable spirit of a community that had faced its darkest fears. Their story became a part of the town's lore, a reminder of the resilience and courage that had brought them through the nightmarish ordeal. But the peace that had settled over Blackwood was fragile, and the memories of the malevolent force's reign still haunted the town's inhabitants. In the dead of night, townspeople sometimes whispered of strange shadows and whispered secrets that seemed to echo from the past. Catherine and Alexander, now an inseparable part of Blackwood's history, knew that the malevolent entity might forever remain a lurking presence in the town's shadowed corners. Their vigilance continued, and they remained prepared to protect the town should the darkness ever threaten to return. In the end, the story of Blackwood was one of enduring light, of hope that could withstand even the darkest of forces. The town, once shrouded in fear, had emerged stronger and more resilient, a place where love and courage had triumphed over the malevolent darkness. As Catherine and Alexander watched the sunset from their cottage, they knew that the shadows of the past would never fully dissipate, but they also understood that the light of their love and the unwavering strength of the town's inhabitants would always hold the darkness at bay. Blackwood was a place forever changed, where the echoes of horror and redemption would linger in the hearts and minds of those who had faced the malevolent force and emerged stronger, bound together by their shared history. One brisk autumn evening, as the leaves fell and the wind carried a chill, a newcomer arrived in Blackwood. Her name was Isabella, a woman with a mysterious aura and a past she kept hidden. She had heard whispers of the town's dark history and had come seeking a fresh start, hoping to find solace in the quiet isolation of Blackwood. Isabella took up residence in a cozy cottage at the edge of town. Her arrival met with curious glances and hushed conversations. She had an air of quiet strength, and an uncanny ability to understand the shadows that lingered in the hearts of the townspeople. As Isabella settled into her new life, she couldn't escape the tales of Blackwood's history. The townspeople, though they had found peace in recent years, still held on to the memories of the malevolent forces' trials and the darkness they had endured. Catherine and Alexander, the town's vigilant protectors, approached Isabella with caution but recognized a shared determination in her eyes. They revealed the town's history, the malevolent force they had faced, and the trials that still haunted Blackwood. As the trio of Catherine, Alexander, and Isabella joined forces to safeguard Blackwood from the lingering shadows of its dark history, a unique bond formed between them. Each had faced their own personal demons, and they found strength in their shared determination to protect the town. Together, they devised new wards and protections, continuously strengthening the town's defenses against the malevolent force that still sought to return. Isabella's understanding of the darkness, coupled with Catherine and Alexander's knowledge and experience, created an alliance that could not be easily broken. Despite the safeguards in place, unrest began to simmer within Blackwood. Whispers of strange occurrences and lingering shadows multiplied, causing unease among the townspeople. Some believed that the malevolent force had not truly been vanquished and was merely biding its time. As tensions grew, a division emerged among the townspeople. While some rallied behind Catherine, Alexander, and Isabella, others questioned the need for such vigilance, arguing that the town should move on and leave the past behind. One fateful night, as the moon hung low and the wind carried an eerie howl, the malevolent force launched a relentless assault on Blackwood. Shadows converged, whispers grew into a cacophony of fear, and a palpable darkness enveloped the town. Catherine, Alexander, and Isabella fought with all their might, but the malevolent force had returned with a vengeance. It used the town's divisions and fears against them, sowing discord and chaos in its wake. In a climactic battle, the trio realized that the only way to defeat the malevolent force once and for all was to confront their own pasts and fears, to unite against the darkness that sought to tear Blackwood apart. As Blackwood teetered on the brink of darkness, Catherine, Alexander, and Isabella delved into their own histories, confronting the traumas and fears that had shaped them. They discovered that the malevolent force drew strength from their own shadows, using their unresolved issues to feed its malevolence. With newfound insight and understanding, they overcame their individual demons and united against the malevolent force. Together, they channeled their strength and love into a powerful spell that weakened the entity. In a cataclysmic battle that tested their resolve and unity, Catherine, Alexander, and Isabella faced off against the malevolent force. The entity twisted their darkest fears and memories into grotesque manifestations, but the trio held strong, their bond unbreakable. With a final, overwhelming surge of magic and love, they defeated the malevolent force, vanquishing it from Blackwood once and for all. The town, bathed in a serene moonlight, began to heal from the turmoil that had gripped it. As the sun rose over Blackwood, the town emerged from the darkness that had once again threatened to consume it. Catherine, Alexander, and Isabella stood together, their spirits unbroken, their connection stronger than ever. Blackwood, having faced the shadows of its past once more, found hope and renewal in the love and resilience of its protectors. The town, now bound by a shared history of survival, understood that its enduring strength lay in unity and the ability to confront its darkest fears. The echoes of the malevolent force were quieted, and a new era began in Blackwood, one of renewed hope and the enduring power of love to overcome even the most malevolent of forces.